Please read the disclaimer. XRP holders, this is going to be a very interesting week here for the crypto market. We had a wild weekend. Wait a second, I gotta whip this out. Whoa, right? This has been a crazy weekend here for the crypto market, where we started out with Friday looking really good, and then Saturday morning looking even better, and then Sunday morning looking even, it was amazing. And then Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, the crypto market started selling off once again. We'll talk about what are the events that are happening this week and why there's still manipulation going on around the crypto market, and what we need to watch out for going into this week. All I ask from you, beautiful people, is to give me a beautiful smile, to send out those good vibes. If you're still here, interested in the crypto market, I'll show you a stat that will maybe warm your heart up a little bit if it's cold wherever you are right now. I don't know. February is usually cold, but here it's been beautiful. You see, I'm in short sleeves, right? And we'll see potentially what can happen going forward. Okay. So beautiful smile, smishity smash that like button. Let's try to get 2,000 likes on this video. I'm giving you a harder, goal than usual. You've been slacking off recently, and it's all your fault that the crypto market is doing terrible. No. I'm just joking. It's not your fault. We'll see. It's the powers to be. It's a higher being. You'll understand soon. Currently, XRP is sitting at $1.46, down minus 0.59% on the day. So as you can see, we had a very fast run up here for XRP. We had a buy signal on the 1348 EMA on the 1 hour chart, and now we're seeing a sell signal. So I would not be surprised if the crypto market pulls back a little bit this holiday Monday, where there's no trading on the stock market. So all the eyes are going to be on the crypto market. So far, there's not a lot of action, but it is in the US. It's kind of early. Asian markets are still waking up. Like, it's midday there, but a lot of them trade overnight. And so it will be very interesting to see what happens here. On the 4 hour chart, we are still with that buy signal, even though we popped up here for XRP and then came right back down. As you can see, since it was like 4 or 5 hours of just big sell-offs, liquidations. You can see it's a straight diagonal line here. It was about 11 hours and 13.5%. It wasn't that fast, right? Because it was multiple hours, but you can see the rise from here, right, from $1.50 all the way up and all the way back down was actually quite triangle-y, right? You can see it looks like what's it called in English, right? Mishulash veshukayim, right? When the two sides are equal, right? It's really a triangle here that has two equal sides, and that's very interesting. And it looks to me like an algo trade that somebody put on some sort of algorithm that traded the XRP price like that. Look how set it is. And then it had a little bit sell off, but at that time the rest of the crypto market was also selling off. So it was not only because of XRP, but that's very interesting that XRP's price itself came out in that how long was this period, right? This was about 10 hours, 10 and a half hours that it had that rise and fall right exactly at the same place, and it came out with that triangle. Of course, it continued to drop down here, and now we're seeing this consolidation phase right now here for XRP. So it will be very interesting to see what happens here for XRP in the next coming hours. We do have a big week coming. I don't know if you saw the video from last night where we talked, because I don't know, the algorithm sometimes Sunday night it freaks out on us, but we do have President's Day today, so there's no trading on the stock market. And then we have the Fed meeting minutes on Wednesday, PC on Friday, which is the preferred Fed inflation data. And so that's going to be happening on Friday. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. I do not know what the markets are going to do day to day, right? I don't know what Trump's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen with the Iranians. I don't know, if suddenly a new thing's going to pop up, right? This has been basically the worst start of a year that we've ever seen in the crypto market. If you can see here, there has never been a red January and a red February for the crypto market, for Bitcoin, actually. This is Bitcoin. And so does that give me hope that we'll see a recovery here? It does a little bit, but we know that things can flip very, very fast because we know that, for example, the beginning of the year started out very, very strong. And we were like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing start to the year, right? XRP was up about 30% in 5 days. And then what happened after that? We went on this massive month and a half, crazy sell-off. Actually, this was a month where XRP dropped 54%. And Bitcoin dropped also around 50%, right? 40%. And so this was a very quick change. And we know that in the crypto market, we can have a week or two where the crypto market totally changes, like back in July, where XRP rose 67% in 14 days. So there is a scenario where I can see the crypto market and XRP recovering here towards the end of the month. If, for example, Trump announces that there's a deal in place with Iran, and that fear is off the table, then I could see confidence coming back into the market, for example. Another thing that could put confidence in the market is if the government shutdown fear disappears, right? So if we have that possibility off the table, then potentially the market could feel froggy as well. And of course, the best thing for the crypto market specific, not just the markets in general, is that we could have a deal in place for the banks and the crypto market, and we see the Clarity Act go forward, and that was the real trigger that sent the crypto market on that spiral movement to the downside. So if that happens, and there was some talks about March 1st. So again, maybe if we get that done in the next few days, then we could also see a positive run and then close the month in the green, right? That's never happened before. My hands are really itchy. I don't know if you can see that I have like eczema. So I don't know what's going on. I think it's because it's the weather is so dry here. So it flares up. So if I'm itching, I'm sorry. It's really itchy. And so we'll see what is going to potentially happen here. Again, we've had worse Januaries in the past, worse Februaries. But for the most part, February has been an okay month, right, in the history. Let me get me to the other side. It's been an okay month in the history, but right now we've had October red, November red, December red, January red, February red, right? There have been times like this, right? 2018 was also not a great span here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of red, but then it followed with 5 months of green. So is that the silver lining that we can say, okay, we've had now 5, maybe we'll go on for 6, but then maybe we'll have 5 months of green following that. So again, we'll see how potentially the crypto market plays out here. It will be very interesting. I don't know how it will play out, but I am zooming out. When in doubt, zoom out, right? I'm zooming out. I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at the market over time. I'm looking at Bitcoin over time. And I am looking at 5 to 10 years down the road and looking at the chunk of my investments in that span. Again, you have to have a plan for a day, for a week, for a month, for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years. And they're all different scenarios and they're all different game plans and they're all different outlooks. Some days there's a momentum and then you take, a day trade. And sometimes there's more thinking about, okay, what are the next catalysts? And sometimes you're looking at what's the next catalyst for the next 5 years, what's the next catalyst for the next 10 years. And sometimes it changes. Like think about all these companies, for example, in the stock market, that like a year ago, every company was talking about AI, right? Anyone that mentioned AI in their earnings call, stock popped. Well, now they're all afraid of the AI, and those that are not using AI correctly are going to fall behind and they're going to lose a lot of business. So there's a lot of fear now, but that has totally changed in just a very short period of time. So one company you could think, oh, this is going to be the next company, right? And then suddenly it flips. And so again, we have to be dynamic. We have to think about what are the possibilities, what could happen, and how things are going to develop in the future, right? If suddenly they invent a machine that synthesize food from thin air, right? So then all the food companies are going to collapse, right? So things can change, things can be dynamic. We have to think about what's going to potentially happen. And it will be very interesting to see. That's why, again, I'm a big believer in diversification, because sometimes your crypto portfolio is going to be very weak. Like now, my crypto portfolio is weak, but my stocks are doing good. Okay. A lot of them have got hit, got a little bit of a downward there. But for example, real estate here is very, very strong still. So there's always going to be the yin and the yang, the up and the down, and we have to figure out what's the best balance for us going forward. Okay. Um, there's also the fact that there's a lot of imbalance. Again, we've talked about this. A 10% rally in Bitcoin would trigger roughly 4.34 billion in short liquidations against about 2.35 billion in long liquidations on a 10% decline. Bearish positionings appear more crowded over leverage, increasing the risk of amplified upside squeeze if momentum turns. And that's why we're seeing these cricket movements where we pop up and then pull back down. So both sides were getting liquidated here. The shorts were getting liquidated, and then the longs got liquidated here as well. It seems, according to Vincent, that we're seeing a lot of manipulation happening by exchanges. You can see every single time XRP starts pumping fast, a massive sell-off, actually a wash trade on Binance causes a collapse. First allowing shorts to liquidate, then once they are all gone, dump hard and destroy all the longs and cause a cataclysmic. I can't pronounce that word. 1 second. A cataclysmic downturn. Now you see it come back up again. If this was a real retail volume, you would see an hourly 41 million spike. And Vincent has been watching this for the past 3 years, and you can see that there was a pop here, right? And then it started selling off. What happened? There was no real thing that happened here outside of the fact that the crypto market at that hour, 10:25, right? It was my time, suddenly started selling off, right? And it sold off here. It took actually Bitcoin a while to start, coming down, but it also started coming down at that time, right? There was this big 2-minute candle here, or 10-minute candle here, and then it continued, right? But XRP, it had that, and then it started just slowly. There was it seemed one long or something that was pumping up, and as soon as we started seeing the pullback, it started unraveling that whole run up, right? And people are looking also at Upbit, the South Koreans, right? We talked about that, how it's a double-edged sword, because they are, trading a lot of XRP, but also when they start selling off their XRP as a day trade, then it creates that kind of imbalance, right? And you see XRP touched 166 and is down 16% since then. Once that level was hit, Upbit started pushing mass amounts of sell pressure on the books. 50 million XRP net sold at market over the last 15 hours, right? And you can see. And it was happening on Binance, it was happening on Upbit, it was happening on Bitstamp. And so there was a lot of shenanigans going on. And for me, this looks like a very potential just algo movement, right? The algos have become very, very sophisticated. People are deploying AI agents that are trading. And this looks like something happened there, something that just one big person potentially got liquidated on the 5-minute or the 1 minute there. and it just started selling off. And this is, again, this is just part of the game right now. And I think it's going to get worse because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen in the crypto market that we won't understand why they're happening because of the new elements of the algos and the AIs. It's not the new element of the algos, but it's the new element of these massive clusters of AI agents that are now having access to the trading desk, right? And they didn't have that before. And they're going to be trading in a specific way, and they might be dynamic, and they might not understand what's going on, and they might think things, and and it's kind of concerning. But that's why, again, I told you I'm kind of changing my aspect a little bit and looking at things a little bit different. Okay. And so it will be very interesting to see. I'm starting to research, maybe I'm going to deploy something like that, and so we'll see how that plays out. I'm going to try to do a deep dive over the next week or so. My wife's getting a little bit better. So, I might have a little bit more time next week, and I'll try to get a deep dive. I want to get into that area a little bit more. So it will be very interesting to see how today plays out. Happy President's Day to those in the US that celebrate, right? Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to smash the like button. Very, very important, okay? And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.